There's a man in this story who never won the lottery, never got promoted, never inherited a dime. 10 years after one evening, his life looked unrecognizable. Let me tell you about Elias. He worked at a shoe repair stall at the edge of a market town. Not a shop, a stall. 3 walls and a tin roof, wedged between a butcher who yelled prices at nobody in particular, and a woman who sold eggs from a basket balanced on an upturned crate. Elias wasn't poor, exactly. He wasn't much of anything, exactly. He made enough to eat, pay his rent, and buy leather for next week's repairs. Some weeks, there was a little left over. Most weeks there wasn't. His neighbor, a tailor named Dorin, used to tease him about it. You fix all this all day, and you don't even own a decent pair of boots yourself. Elias would laugh, because it was true, and there wasn't much of a comeback for something that plainly true. One evening, an old customer came by to get his boots resoled. His name was Tobias, a retired railway clerk with a slow way of talking, like he'd never once in his life been in a hurry. While Elias worked the leather, Tobias watched him count out coins for the supplier, slowly, carefully, like every coin mattered, because at that point in his life, it did. Tobias said, "I never made much more than you're making right now, but I put away 1 coin every single day for 30 years. Good week, bad week, didn't matter. I never missed a day." Elias asked why 1 coin mattered so much. It seemed too small to be proud of. Tobias thought about it, then said, "It's not really about the coin. It's about the day you didn't skip." Elias didn't answer. He just kept working the leather. But that sentence stuck to him, or a way most things people said didn't. He thought about it for a week. Then, without deciding to make it a big thing, he found an old tobacco tin, rinsed the smell out as best he could, and started dropping 1 coin into it every evening to closing the stall. Not a large coin, whatever he could spare without feeling it the next morning. The first month, if he was honest, it felt a little ridiculous. He could see the bottom of the tin every time he opened the lid. By the 3rd month, Dorin noticed the tin on the shelf and asked what it was for. Elias said he didn't really know yet. He just knew he hadn't skipped a day, and that felt like it mattered more than the amount inside. Here's where most people expect the story to speed up. Some clever investment, some lucky break. That's not what happened, and that's exactly why this story is worth telling. And also why so many people don't believe it when they hear it. Nothing dramatic happened. Nothing anyone walking past his stall would have noticed at all. But something was changing. Not in the tin. In Elias. Around month 5, there was a stretch that got hard. Slow weeks. A landlord who raised the rent without warning. A cold that kept him out of the stall for 4 days he couldn't afford to lose. He sat there one night with the tin open, seriously considering skipping just this 1 week. Nobody would know. Nobody would care. He put the coin in anyway. Not out of some grand philosophy about discipline. Mostly because Tobias's voice was still in his head, saying it was never really about the coin. By the 1-year mark, he noticed something odd. He'd more or less stopped buying things he used to buy without thinking. The second coffee, a hat he didn't need. Not because he'd decided to cut back on purpose. He just started paying attention to where his money went, because now he thought about it every single day, for the first time in his life. By the 2nd year, he'd saved enough to stop buying cheap leather that fell apart in 6 months. He bought better leather in bulk instead, at a lower price per piece, and the repairs he made started lasting longer. Customers noticed. Word got around the market the way it does. A stall that used to see maybe 6 people a day started seeing 10. Then 12. By the 4th year, Elias wasn't saving 1 coin a day out of habit anymore. Not really. He had actual savings behind that habit, enough that when the stall next to his came up for rent, he could take it without borrowing a single coin from anyone. He hired a young apprentice named Petru and taught him the trade the same patient way Tobias had once taught him something else entirely. Petru struggled with the tin idea at first, same as Elias once had. A few months in, he said flatly that a coin a day wasn't going to change anything about his life. Elias didn't argue. He just said, "Ask me again in 5 years." Petru kept dropping the coin anyway, mostly out of stubbornness. By the 7th year, Elias owned a small building both stalls sat inside. He hadn't planned that far ahead when he started. It just happened, one coin, 1 year at a time. 10 years after that evening with Tobias, Elias sat in the back room of what was now a proper shop, not a stall anymore, counting the day's earnings before locking up. Out of habit more than need at that point, he still dropped 1 coin into an old tin on the shelf. The same tin, dented now, rusted a little along the seam. Petru asked him once, half joking, why he still bothered, now that he clearly didn't need to. Elias thought about it longer than the question deserved. Then he said something Petru didn't really understand until years later, when he'd started his own tin without meaning to. He said, "The coin was never really the point. The point was that I showed up for myself every single day, including the days it felt stupid to bother." Here's the part worth sitting with. Elias never had one big lucky break. No inheritance, no lottery ticket, no investor who suddenly believed in him. What he had was one small decision, repeated on the days he wanted to skip it, just as much as the days it was easy. Most people don't fail at building something because they're missing a brilliant idea. They fail because the first few months of small, boring effort feel like nothing is happening, and they stop right before it was ever going to start adding up to something. If you started one small habit today and didn't skip it for 10 years straight, what do you think it would actually turn into? Let us know in the comments. And if this story meant something to you, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.